What do you remember from elementary school? Making friends, learning to read, playing outside, and maybe, if you were lucky, taking a field trip to your local school forest. Our research looked at the memories and lasting impacts created by school forest education. We would like to share with you what we learned, as well as how you might do a similar study in your own community. This project was generously funded by a grant from the Wisconsin Environmental Education Foundation. Wisconsin has one of the most established school forest programs in the country, with over 200 schools across the state owning registered school forests. The Boston School Forest, located in Plover, Wisconsin, dates back to the 1930s, when a local businessman donated 80 acres to the school district. Between 1937 and 1958, school children planted over 100,000 trees, which have now grown into a mixed pine forest. In the 1960s and 70s, high school students helped with forest management and building projects that made more formal environmental education possible starting in 1983. Now all 4K through 6th grade students in the Stevens Point Area School District have the opportunity to visit the Boston School Forest at least once every year. The goals of our research project were to document the long-term impacts of school forest education and provide insight into how such environmental education experiences can be more memorable and have a greater lasting impact. We began by handing out surveys to seniors at the local high school, and with a small incentive, got 38 surveys back. We also wanted to interview adults who went to the Boston School Forest as children. So we advertised our study through emails, flyers, social media, and booths at local events. We have been able to recruit 8 adults so far and hope to do more interviews this coming spring. In the next few slides, we will share the survey and interview questions we asked, in case you want to do a similar study on an environmental education program in your town. If you do, we would recommend surveying high school students rather than trying to locate adult past participants. The high school survey began by asking students for their top 3 memories and why they think those experiences were particularly memorable. We also asked how visits to the Boston School Forest influenced their sense of place, whether they still think or talk about the Boston School Forest, and how they think their experiences there have impacted them since. We asked similar questions in our adult interviews with adults, but we're looking for greater depth. We asked about memories of instructional sessions, the place and the staff, as well as about the physical, social, and emotional experience of being at the school forest. We were also interested in how experiences changed over time, because one of the hallmarks of the program is that children get to go back to the school forest year after year. Turning to the perceived impacts, we asked about connection to place and the Stevens Point community, and about impacts on career choices, personal environmental behaviors, and interest in outdoor recreation. Feel free to adapt our survey and interview questions to meet your own needs. And what have we learned through our research? We found that the strongest memories and greatest perceived impact came from participating in hands-on learning experiences in nature, having a chance to try new physical activities like cross-country skiing and snowshoeing, working together with classmates on challenge course activities and orienteering, and repeating some activities for multiple years. Both high school students and adults stated that visits to the school forest increased their knowledge of local plants and animals, led to a greater appreciation of the outdoors, and a desire to continue learning about natural resources and environmental issues. We have many great quotes from the surveys and interviews, including, "I remember walking around, like scavenger hunts, and trying to find different animal footprints and that kind of thing, and trying to identify them on your own, instead of having the teacher tell, 'This is that.' You know, it's more fun, and I think you learn more when you figure it out on your own." And we really were able to start to get the sense of what was going on in our surroundings, and what sorts of animals were out there, and how we were connected to them. It was very different from the classrooms I was used to, and I was learning stuff that was super interesting. I had no idea there were so many things living in water. I thought water was just water. I learned that Wisconsin is a beautiful state, and our nature is very important. I learned about the trees and animals we have in Wisconsin. I think they've had a pretty big impact. Boston School Forest really sparked in me a curiosity about the natural world. That spark has turned into a blaze. Now I plan on being an environmental scientist. We hope that our findings will help improve not only the programs at the Boston School Forest, but at other sites too. We recommend that environmental education programs be hands-on, active, and outside in all seasons. If possible, we recommend multiple experiences over multiple years with each building on prior learning. We also recommend giving students the chance to work together on challenging tasks, and giving the students who may not excel in the classroom a chance to do so in an outdoor environment. Conducting research like this can also be a valuable asset as you try to grow and sustain your school forest program. We encourage you to gather data on how many students you serve each year and what they are learning. If your program has been around for a while, you will likely hear many stories similar to those we gathered from past participants. Document them and share them. And remember that there are many resources out there to support you and your school forest program. Through our research, we are reminded that every time children go to their school forest, a new story unfolds, a new memory is made, and life is changed for the better, forever. If you would like to learn more about the Boston School Forest, or would like to do a similar study of your own, feel free to contact Kendra Liddicoat at the Wisconsin Center for Environmental Education at UW-Stevens Point, or Karen Dostal at the Boston School Forest.